This is about Jen Quiet Please Wastrom. I gave her that name because I don't think she's always that quiet in the library, but don't tell anyone.
I can't imagine the Mark Twain Library without the irreplaceable Jan Wastrom. I wonder what Mark Twain will think about it.
Soon after I met Jen at the preschool orientation, this effervescent, impossible-to-resist woman recruited me to join the programming committee at the library. She has donated, fundraised, appealed, and cajoled families, friends, selectmen, town treasurers, and local businesses to care about and support the library as much as she does.
She has a history of the library that very few people do, and it's really important. I think when you think of the Mark Twain Library, her face is right next to it, and I don't think that there's a nicer thing that you can say about anyone.
My fondest association with Jen was our co-chairing of the library's centennial celebration. The most amazing thing that Jen did was reach out to every organization in the town of Reading to join in the celebration. And all these organizations planned programs at their own locations to recognize our centennial.
I cannot recall ever having the privilege of working with anyone who possessed such a wide range of talents, seemingly boundless energy and infectious enthusiasm. Commitment and devotion to the institution, leadership, and the aptitude to learn about new and unfamiliar areas before jumping in with suggestions. An uncanny ability to work with a wide variety of people with differing personalities and capabilities. Oh, and did I mention that there was never anyone she couldn't outwork?
Over the time since Jen and I joined the board, the library budget has tripled, and Jen has overseen the transformation of the physical and functional plant of the library.
I think that no one loves the Mark Twain Library and what she calls himself, Mark Twain, any more than Jen could possibly love the library.
I've known Jen the whole time that I've been here. Well, that she's been here. I was here a little bit longer. Actually, we share a birthday, but I came first.
She's just so full of energy and, as Kay said, a pleasure to work with.
I got here and met Jen, who has done more than anyone I can think of to expand the circle of friends for this library. And she has done it all as a volunteer, and as a professional librarian, as a professional fundraiser, I couldn't be more impressed.
It's Jen who's the story. Jen and her incredible connection with this place. From the minute she got involved, she poured her heart, which is a big one, her heart and soul into this place. And I honestly believe that without her passion and her countless hours of dedication to this place, it really wouldn't be quite what it is today.
She often has a vision for your future before you even know you have one for yourself.
Do you remember the first time we met? Well, I do. It was at a program in the upstairs meeting room. And at the end of the program, you came over with your special smile and that twinkle in your eye, and you squeezed my arm gently and said, "Are you interested in becoming involved with the library?" And I was so thrilled. I didn't know you very well, but I certainly admired you.
One of the Meadow Ridge residents, Grady Jensen, who's very near and dear to my heart and certainly very close to Jen and the library team, really suggested that we come over for lunch. So I made time on my calendar, hoping to be in and out as quickly as possible, came in and was dazzled by the energy and power that is here at the library and with Jen and Pam in particular, and that was actually a real changing moment. It's just become such a vibrant part of our fabric that I can't imagine Meadow Ridge and the Mark Twain Library not being connected, and it's in a large part because of our relationship with Jen.
I knew you, Jen, before I met you because my friend Grady here so often told me about that dynamo named Jen, who was a leader and a worker and an inspiration for the Mark Twain Library. And so when I did finally have the pleasure of knowing you one-on-one, it was a revelation to see all of those things were true.
The word that Joan and Jake used for Jen is dynamo. The word I used when I talked about her was the self-recharging ball of fire. My first board meeting was my first exposure to that self-rechargeable ball of fire we know as Jen Wastrom. Several years ago, Jen arrived at a board meeting one morning wearing a wonderful fur hat, which I then admired greatly. Lo and behold, several months later, damned if she didn't present me with this hat, which was just like the one she wore.
There would be no small business circle without your vision and devotion.
You morphed a focus group of a few small business owners into a small business circle of over 160 members.
Jen, today we've built that small business community. We've launched our small business directory. We provide networking, education, and sponsorship opportunities to our members.
She has a warmth about her that just brings the best out of you. It's a very genuine warmth that she then creates. She lets you know that you're valued.
I was just blown away by her creativity, her ability to motivate and get the board to accomplish things, and with an enthusiasm that only she can bring to any situation.
Each year, after happily hand-printing colorful bursts to attract attention to the wretched sets, Jen spends her birthday at the book fair encouraging browsers to extend their lives by buying a set or more for their homes. Tusen tak, Jen, our very own Mark Twain Library's Energizer Bunny. Yay.
You know, I remember when Jen came to me and said, "We're going to have a party at your house. It's only going to be some of the larger supporters of the library, no more than 100 people. You're going to be away for the weekend. Don't worry. When you get back, you'll never know anyone was here." And she delivered on that because she was just able to do those things. She had to have the creativity to set something like that up, the perseverance to work through it, the kind of the charisma to convince people to come to these things, and the charisma to convince people to have these things at their houses, I guess.
When I think about the first time I met Jen Wastrom, we were standing in Bramble on Newtown Turnpike outside Mary Ellen Lake's barn. She took a moment and observed the scene, looked around, and said, "This just won't do." And sure enough, 12 years later, we manifested a new shed on library property.
Jen historically has not been really a numbers person, and she was pretty proud of that for a while. But recently she's decided to take it upon herself to get very savvy with the financials, especially of the library. So now she's probably been immersed in about 2 college courses worth of non-for-profit financials, and if I had the power, I would give her an honorary degree in finance for nonprofits because she has now mastered it, and I'm very impressed.
So for both Mark Twain and Jen Wastrom, family is their foundation. In the case of Mark Twain, it was his beloved wife, Livy, and his 3 daughters. In the case of Jen, her loving Rick has been by her side with her 2 sons, Kip and Thatcher. Both Mark Twain and Jen Wastrom are creative geniuses, and I'm so grateful that both of them, the heart of Reading, gave of their time, talent, and treasure to make this library, this place, the gem it is for our town. Thank you, Jen.
Because most of the work we did together was wordsmithing, I thought I'd try to figure out one word that might kind of encapsulate the way Jen approached all of her work for the library. And actually it took me about 8 seconds. And the word I came up with was relentless. I think it's the combination of the passion that Jen brings and that relentless, ever pushing forward to make sure everything ends up with a tangible result and process that makes her the most valuable steward of the library that we could ever have.
I have found it impossible to select individual accomplishments from Jennifer's amazing tenure at the Mark Twain Library, but I do recall 2 bookend accomplishments that are worthy of mention. First, some 20 years ago, was the amazing script Jennifer wrote, performed by Mark and Colleen Pinter, chronicling the life of Mark Twain. This may not have been her first, but it was close to it, notable Mark Twain Library accomplishment, but a tour de force it was.
Your legacy, Jen, is a beautiful tapestry woven of countless threads. Your grasp of Mark Twain's history, your knowledge and reverence for Twain is legendary, and your creative juices flow in a myriad of ways, culminating in the creation of the remarkable Pudd'nhead Festival.
Jen, my name is Michael Ian Black. I say that for the people watching, you probably already know. I came to you and your dear friend Pam Roby with an idea, which was to create a festival, a literary and humor festival here in Mark Twain's final hometown. And rather than throwing me out of my ear and saying, that's just a ludicrous idea that we're never going to do, you embraced it, you supported it, and most importantly, you did 90% of the work, you and Pam. But we've raised a lot of money for this great institution behind me, and you have been a tremendous, tremendous asset to, obviously, this gorgeous library, but also to me personally. Not so much in terms of your work ethic, but just your style. You just look great.
I don't know, one of the phrases I think that you hear a lot is ask Jen.
Yes, because Jen knows everything.
Or what would Jen do? I think about that a lot as, I think as chairs of a fundraiser, we think about like, you know, what would Jen do?
And Jen always has the answer. She has this knowledge that's so vast, she always definitely has the answer.
Yes.
And I kind of view her as the glue that links the past to the present.
I just think of her as a visionary. She really has a very creative side.
anything she said she would do, by the way, she did. And there was never any question that I can't do that or this and this. Somehow it got done.
But your dedication to the library is truly extraordinary. Your many hats have included working on lavish galas to worrying about the drainage from the parking lot.
She has a very can-do attitude, even when faced with difficult challenges, adversity, pushback. She still shows an ability to want to tackle the toughest issues.
There you were in the middle of one of the coldest spells this past winter, fighting the boiler gremlins in the basement of the Mark Twain Library so the flames of recorded knowledge would not be snuffed out and the ghost of Mark Twain himself would not haunt the ruined collection and stacks.
If it was up to me, I'd put Jen in charge of everything. Everything meaning the entire world, just to be clear, everything. I'd make her president of the world.
Is there anything Jen Wastrom cannot do? And then it occurred to me, I have never heard Jen sing. So heads up, Jen, my next assignment for myself is to find the answer to this question.
One of my favorite things about Jen, I call them her Jenisms. I love listening to Jen speak, and I love opening her emails. She has such a witty way with words, and she's so clever. And in that way too, she draws you in. You know, I think she really embodies everything about this place. She is this spirit with enthusiasm and loyalty and devotion. I think if Sam Clemens could, he would tip his hat to her and say thank you.
You are, for the library, the Chief Gratitude Officer, that in addition to all the effort that you make, you always recognize the efforts of the army of volunteers that also support the operation of the library. And for that special skill, I thank you. Thank you.
I would just like to thank her for her advocacy, for her work on the library, without which it certainly wouldn't be what it is today.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen, also known as the Lego Fairy to my family, for always inspiring me to leap a little higher for the Mark Twain Library.
So cheers and congrats to the classy, ebullient, brilliant lady who has given the gift of herself for the past 20 years. The library and the town are richer for it. Love you.
We all say thank you to Jen.
Yeah.
For everything.
For everything.
What are we going to do without her?
Well, you're not doing without her.
Oh no,
are
that's true.
No, don't say that. That I will not accept.
Yes, thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
And so all I can say about Jen is thank you. That's it.